the cloud data. So I think you looked
Mm.
that on as well. So
Yes, I've had a look at the data on the oh, hold on, one more person. I've had a look at the data there. Okay, so now that everybody's here, just officially starting. Start the recording. All good. Yes, so thank you, Samrat. I did have a look at the data online. There are a couple of things that I wanted to go through today. So obviously starting off with some questions or anything. And it's good to hear that you're going out and getting some of that data um, and consulting with people. One thing that I did want to emphasize, um, and I think I had mentioned this in our first meeting together, is that this process, it shouldn't be a data collection exercise. So we're mainly trying to find secondary data sources. That is what the data behind PAiCE should be based off of. It should be based off of secondary data sources and so not your own collection of data is what I mean there. It sounds as though you've already organized this, and I think that it will be valuable, but given the time constraint of a workshop, generally, we don't. Generally, it would be difficult to find all of the data that we're looking for by doing your own data collection. So it's great that you've taken the initiative to do that, and I think it will be very fruitful in that it will get some data for you. Um, but with some of the later modules, we won't have the time to do primary data collection for all of those. Um, so I have looked at some of the data that you've provided as well. So I'll go through all of that a little bit later in the workshop in this meeting as well. Um, before we move on, though, is there any other questions or anything?
yeah, Mackenzie,
Yes, Sumideep, please.
I wanted to just tell you that the I could not have chance. I did not have chance to see to it our agronomist. Okay, because
Mm,
this is the financial year ending and also the semester is ending, and all of the professors are very much busy.
mm,
So I think we have to wait to feel all the things, because I wanted to feel the constraints and all those things with the specialist's advice, because
mm,
that would be better. And in the meantime, regarding data, also we are in a data hungry situation. We have data from like 5 years back. The We don't have the last 3 years data, so we are trying to fetch those data from our district agricultural office,
mm,
but it will take some time. So
mm.
um, that's the thing.
Okay, well, thank you for sharing. Yes, I think I understand that it is challenging to get these data points, and you've outlined some pretty obviously things get in the way of us getting those data sources and doing the expert consultation. So I totally understand that that is a
Mhm.
constraint that we have at this point, and especially because we're trying to do this in just 1 month.
Mhm.
Um, I know that that is going to be a problem. Um, so as long as we get something on here, and this is something that I was hoping to stress a little bit later, but
Mhm.
I can touch on it now. Um,
Mhm.
so what we really need to do, what we absolutely have to have done before the
Mhm.
workshop is the system characterization. So we need to hone in what the geographic scope is,
Mhm. Yeah, I
cropping
have
area.
updated
Yep.
the areas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we need to do all of that. And then we need to do module F as well to figure out which crops we're looking at. And all of you have done this now. There are a couple of things which I'll comment on later, but so we're hoping to get those first 3 modules done. And then we really need module P minus and C minus to be done. So in these modules, we have the definitions of the production constraints and the definitions of the climate challenges. Um, so once we have these perfect and we're good to go and they work well with the tool, the data after that, it will be very difficult to get it without expert consultation and to find it from secondary data sources because what the tool is asking for is very specific. Um, so it is possible that for some of these workshops, we won't have finished all of these data points. And that's what the first day of the workshop will be for. If we don't finish this, or if we want to go through, and we will go through if it is finished, we'll go through this whole pre-fill section, and based on what the experts, when they are there, what they say, we'll change the pre-fill files accordingly. So it will happen that maybe we won't finish these ones, and we would like to finish as much as we possibly can. But I understand that this is an issue. Have there been any technical problems at all with the tool working, or the desktop version is now working for everybody, I hope?
Meganji, technical problem is I found something like in case of production constraints, like I have given two constraints like price instability and small and fragmented land holding. Okay. Uh, am I audible?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So like price instability, I gave the category cropping system, but there was no suitable subcategory. Like under cropping system, there are only three subcategory: underutilized land, timely operations, poor crop choice.
Yes,
So like price instability, small and fragmented landholding, these are not coming under any subcategory.
absolutely. So I hope everybody can see that. I've just shared the file that Sumidip is talking about. And there's one other thing that I just wanted to quickly mention, Sumidip. So the version
Yeah,
you're working on here is the version that I originally shared with you. It's a
yeah, yeah.
6.43.
Yes.
In a more recent email, I shared a version 6.45 with you, which has had some updates done to it.
Okay, yeah.
So I will
Mm.
forward that again to you in an email, and I will transfer everything that you've done over to the new version. But just if you can work on that new version, just the old version had a couple of technical problems with it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that would be great. Thanks.
that's a good thing to bring up, Sumyadeep. Thank you for that. The reason that these don't fit into some of these categories is because they're not something that we're looking at with the tool. So we have to think of these challenges in terms of how an agronomic adaptation could solve them. So there is no way that a farmer changing their practice could change price instability. That is not within the farmer's hands, right? It's based on the
Mm-hmm.
market, and it's based on the supplier and the market availability and how easily they can access the supply chain. It's the same with small and fragmented land holdings. That's something that is part of the system, but that an individual farmer, unless they have lots of money to buy more land, they can't fix
Mm-hmm.
that. So those two in this instance don't fit into this module. They're not production constraints in terms of what we're looking for. Um, yes, does that answer your question, Sumidip?
Yeah.
Excellent. I'll stop sharing because I'm hoping to go through all of the files just in the second half of this, or a little bit later in this meeting as well. Were there any other technical difficulties at all with the tools working, or are we all happy with how it's worked so far? Excellent. So I'll mention just quickly, Palab, you were having some difficulties with the Bangladesh file, and I've updated those, so you can now. That doesn't seem to be working, Palab. Sorry.
Yes, Mackenzie. No
Yes.
difficulties yet. Yeah.
Yes. Just some static. Yes. So I've fixed the file for you. Just letting you know. But I'll go through it in a second as well. So just based on what I was saying before now, so because there are some modules that we absolutely have to have done before the meeting, and that's the P minus and the C minus modules. I'll share my screen again, and I'll just go to the Bangladesh file, who is done the P minus and has started on the C minus. Well, I've started on the C minus module for them. So once we have these definitions and short names and subcategories right, the next thing to do is just data, right? So we can, once we have these, we can go to the experts and we can say, okay, what is the impact of acidic soils on potatoes in the Rabi season? And then based on what the agronomists say, we can fill out these data points. Or if we find sort of a data source that we can use, then we can use that as well. Same with module C here. So we need the short name, challenge category, challenge specifics, details, and then specified in the instruction manual here. We also need units and then the threshold values and the seasonality of the challenges. Once we have this, going through again module CV, CO, and CI, it's just data points that we're looking for. And we can ask those experts what they think and use their opinions from that first day of the workshop to help us change those data points. So what I'm proposing then, because it's important to get these done first, is to do a short meeting with each team. Oops. With each team individually. So it would be a one-on-one between me and Sumyadeep, and then me and Samrat and Sujata, and then myself and Palab and Harun as well, just to go through each file, and I can help you to characterize the production constraints and to figure out exactly what definition we need in those. Is that something that people would be able to do? So what I'm looking at is either an hour, either tomorrow or on Thursday. And then once we have those, the rest of the file is quite, or the rest of the data that's needed is all numbers. And it's explained quite nicely, I think, in the instruction manual. And again, if there's any questions on specifics, then I can help with those. Would everybody be open to doing that?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yep, that's good. What about you, Sumyadeep? Do you think that would be okay?
When were you saying, Mackenzie?
Either tomorrow or on Thursday. And the time I can do from 9 o'clock your time until probably midday your time, so about 12 o'clock.
For filling out the constraints, right?
Yes, so it would just be helping with these definitions in module P minus. So for instance, with the price instability and the small fragmented landholding, if we go through that together, then if you put forward a constraint.
But I think, Mackenzie, that wouldn't that be better to see to with our agronomist? I mean, he would be best to discuss with all those things. So I think for me it will be better like if I could sit with him. Like I also have interview as and my exams are also going on. So like instead of hurrying all those things, like I could do this according to my time suitably.
Yes. So my concern though, Sumyadeep, is that the P minus and C minus modules here, they are some of the easier files or the easier modules to fill out. Like they shouldn't, ideally they won't take so much time to do. So I think if we did a one-on-one meeting with each of the facilitator teams, we would be able to finish them within an hour. And then maybe you take those and you take them to your agronomist and you say, is this an important challenge in the area? Because here we're just listing 10 challenges which are potentially an issue in the area. And then in the next module, we're actually characterizing how they affect the area, which is maybe where the specific knowledge of the agronomist will come in handy a little bit more. The problem that we often face with these modules with the definitions is that the definitions provided, they don't capture what the tool needs to have for those definitions. They're not quite specific enough, or they don't have they're not aligned with what the tool is able to do. So by doing this over even 30 minutes, I think we could make quite a lot of progress over a 30-minute meeting. That way we have something there that we can use, and then you can add more, or you can ask me to help take them away, because that process is a little bit difficult from the technical side of the tool. Deleting things is not something that the tool does well. Yes, so I do think that there is some value there if we can make even a 30-minute meeting and just have a discussion.
Yeah, okay, 30 minutes meeting either tomorrow or day after tomorrow, it will be good. But Mackenzie, I won't be able to attend the meeting on 24th because I have the interview and exam on 25th and 26th. So, Mackenzie, be assured that before our workshop, those files will be filled out. So just you have to trust that I will make those according to my
Yes,
time. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate that, Sumyadeep.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that they will be filled out. It's
Yeah.
often the first filling out of the file does not take so long. It is the reviewing of the data points. So I trust that you will be able to do it.
Yeah.
But I would just strongly encourage you to use the instruction manual and very carefully look over all of the notes and everything as you're putting in the data points.
Yes.
Yes, I think we can work something out. I think that will be good.
Yeah.
Okay. And it will be okay for me to do maybe an hours long meeting with everybody else. I've already had a yes from Samrat and Palab. What do you think there? That maybe you and maybe Harun as well? Yes.
Mackenzie, me and Harun sir also field visit tomorrow and 9th and 20 March. Both we are busy in field. Especially he will come in Rampur and both we will go to field. So he asked me
I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Palab. There's quite a lot of static on your microphone.
Yes. Mackenzie, me and Harun sir will be busy 9th and 20 March, both 2 days in field. Yeah.
19 to 20 March, yes. Okay.
Yeah, after 20 March, we are okay anytime
Okay.
meeting.
Yes, so maybe we can do a meeting on the 20th. I'll coordinate with each of you separately to organize this, but I think it's a good idea for us to do it. And the Bangladesh file as well, it has already progressed quite a lot, so I think it will be okay maybe without a meeting. Palab, would you be able to mute your microphone, please? You have quite a lot of... Thank you. Okay. Sorry, it's causing quite a bit of static there is all. All right, so... glad we've gotten that sorted out. I was just going to go through each of the files quickly and point out a couple of things that were maybe needed to change. And then I will again send an email to each of you with these changes, and we can take it from there. And then I'll do an overview of the CV, CO, and CI files as I did in the last meeting, just as we're getting ready to fill those out. So first of all, we have the Nepal file. So there was one thing here in the S- module. Here in key cropping activities, we have rice spring and rice monsoon. This is not necessary to do. We can just have rice, because then in the next module, we've already split it by season. So we have winter, pre-kharif, and kharif. So for instance, it would just make one line instead of having the two lines. So I've done this in a separate file here. And this is what it looks like. So you just have rice all on one line instead of over two lines. The other thing that I had noticed here is that the remaining crops in Nepal are a very high percentage for these seasons. And maybe it's possible to include some of these other crops. If these are the values for the crops that are there, are there any other very important crops in Nepal for across the year, or is it just lots and lots of little crops that aren't so important?
Well, I think yeah, Samrat or Sujata might also answer this, but what I see is like there are other crops as well, but those crops are like grown in like a particular district, but not in the all the three districts. So these are the crops that are kind of common to all the three districts, but those 56%, 57.4%, those remaining crops include crops specific to a particular district. So that would not I think be like a uniform, for the whole of the production region that we are, or the this zone that we are uh, working on. So how should we yeah, maybe if
Mm.
so would it be better to include those crops?
Yes, it would be better to include those crops. So here we're looking at the Koshi province, right? The other thing with this
Yeah,
file is we need some more detail here. We need exactly what the sub-regional levels are, or I'm not sure what they might be called, districts or something like
yeah,
that.
districts. Yeah,
Districts. So we need a
yep.
list of the districts that we're looking at in this file. So you have 471,000 hectares. You need to list all of the different districts that we're looking at, so that when somebody's looking at these files, they could say, okay, this is exactly the area that this is being done over. If there is a crop that is farmed in one of these districts and not in the other district, we're still looking at the whole file. So we're still looking at the whole area. We're looking at the Koshi province. So we still want to capture over the whole area, what is the proportion of this crop being farmed. So even if it's in one district, if this district makes up, let's say, half of the area, this is just a number that I'm pulling out. Let's say one district makes up half of the area and the other district makes up another half of the area. If in one district, half of the crop is rice, and then the other district, none of the crop is rice, that means over the whole area, we have 25% of the crops are rice, right? We would still want to capture this in terms of the whole district. So we would want to say that 25% of all the crops in this district are rice, because we're looking at the whole area. So does that make sense? Does that answer that, Soria?
Yeah, yeah, that will make sense. And
Great.
yeah, I think yeah, Samrat and Sujata should I mean add like a couple of crops like tea, and then which is grown over in Japa a lot, and then
Mm,
also areca nut or betel nut. Uh, that is also quite common in Japa, and
mm,
then sugarcane, which is quite common for Murang and also some parts of Sunsari. And the other thing I'd like to suggest Samrat and Sujata is also to kind of check these figures, because like there's maize all over the field currently. Yeah, in Koshi
mm,
province, but the figures over there are quite a bit kind of doubtful. That is 0% maize in Ravi.
mm,
So yeah, I think that needs to be sorted out, because almost maize is like at the same proportion as wheat or mustard. So yeah, maybe I suggest you to kind of review those figures. Yeah.
mm. Thank you, Soria. Yes, I think that is a good point. We have lots of 0% here, and this is the new file. This is the old one here. So still lots of gaps. What this is telling the tool is that there is no wheat in pre-Kharif or in Kharif, and there is no maize in Rabi or Kharif. And then that the remaining crops, there's a lot of remaining crops. And then also no seasonal fallow. Actually, let me see if that,
Yeah,
yes.
I think maize is grown in two seasons, I guess. So
Mm,
that's why it's creating confusion. The data available was not the secondary data available was strictly not indicating which season the maize was grown in, but the overall data. So I kept it in one season particularly, but I think we need to divide it as well. And also, I think we can add potato and sugarcane to the list as well.
Yes, excellent. So, hello, Harun. Sorry.
Hello. Hello,
Welcome.
Mackenzie.
Yes, so if you want to add some more crops, I will share this new file that I have made, or I'll make the changes so that you just have rice and you haven't added the seasonality. And then, yes, filling in some of these zeros where maybe there is maybe that crop is being farmed. And it's probably a bit difficult to use a data source for one season and then to split it out. That probably doesn't work so well. If we have a data source for one season, then maybe we need to make assumptions about the other seasons if we don't have that. So if we have lots of rice farmed in the Kharif season, and we don't have any other data, then maybe we assume that there is also lots of rice in the other seasons, depending on the weather and things like that. So it's using your own knowledge of the system and then, again, speaking to the agronomists. The other thing here, so I've done a document similar to what I've done for the other files. Oops. This is not working so good for me, excuse me. So just looking at the gross income, which is simply the tons per hectare multiplied by the farm gate price per ton. So that gives us the whole income. And then gross margin is obviously income minus costs. So I'll share this with you. I'll make it look a little bit nicer and I'll share it with you. What it's telling us, or what it's telling the tool, is that the profit off of farming 1 hectare of rice is the cost is 10 times what the profit is. Is that similar to what would be expected?
I think, yeah, I think
Okay.
this is not uncommon. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, thank you. And this, again, I don't understand these systems, so it's good to hear that is the case. Otherwise, the spread is very good, so we don't have values that are too high or too low. So otherwise, that's very well done. Module F here. Just looking at these values here, we have the yield gap, which are probably a little bit low. So we look at rice in the Kharif season. The current yield is rice Kharif 4 tons per hectare. And then the maximum possible yield is 4.17 tons, which means there's only a 4% yield gap between the highest possible yield and the current yield. So these are all some figures that will need to be looked at. And then those are all good as well. And then obviously moving on to module P minus, where we can do those short names and stuff. And I'll help you with that when we organize a short meeting. The India file, we've already looked at this a little bit. This is the working file. Yep, so all of those are up to date. That's good. We're looking at West Bengal. Same thing as the last file, Sumyadip. We need the names of the districts here.
Oops, yes, yeah.
Yep, all good. And then it looks like you've definitely decided to do just the Rabi season.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
So, Mackenzie, these datas I think will change because once we get the updated data from the district agricultural offices, these are not the updated data actually.
Understood. Thank
Yeah,
you.
so as I told that we are trying to get all those data from district offices. So once we get that, I will update those things.
Right. Thank you, Sumyadeep. And I think I already had a discussion with you about we already discussed the costs and how that all works.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming these again also will change because we
Yeah,
have
these will change. Yes.
Excellent.
Let us get the data.
Very good. And then we will have a short meeting about this so that will work
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And we can also fill out some of these as well as we do that. That's good.
Yeah. We will just.
I'll bear. Yes, I'm sorry, Sumyadeep.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry if I'm
It's
seeming a
okay.
little bit pushy here, but yes, thank you for your help with this, and yes, I have confidence that you will get it done as well.
Yeah. Just before the workshop, be assured that all these
Yes.
things will
Excellent.
just yeah.
So Bangladesh file is looking very good. There are a couple of things which I sent in an email, but I'll just go over them quickly. Here, some of the costs are still a little bit low, so it's still saying that the costs to farm 1 hectare of chili is like 1,000 BDT, and then 10,000 in the Rabi season. So just a quick look over that file that I sent through with the costs and the gross income. These are all good. These are very specific, which is nice as well. All of these definitions are good. I removed the 3 that didn't fit, as we had discussed in the last meeting. There's an opportunity here to add more if you would like. You can look through these, and if you want to add 1 or 2 more, that would be very good. These values as well, I've gone through all of them and they all seem very good. It's good that you're using the certainty as well. One thing that I had noticed is that the rice in the Rabi season and the rice in the Kharif season have the same values, and just wanted to make sure that you're happy with that and that the production constraints are the same between the seasons. Is that?
We think so.
Okay, great. That's fine. Sounds good. And then once we're done the P module, so this is good for everybody else to look at as well. These are the values that will go into the workshop. So these are the 10 challenges that we will look at adapting for in the workshop. So those are the values of loss that they cause. 3.8 billion BDT, soil fertility decrease in potato in the Rabi season. That's the cost of that challenge. So when we make it to A- module, we'll provide everybody who comes to the workshop with these challenges, and we'll look for adaptations that solve those challenges. So that's looking a little bit further ahead to when we get to the workshop. C- module. So I've moved the 3 climate-based challenges that were previously in P- here. So we have the short names, the challenge category, challenge specifics, and details, same as the last time. And just looking through these with the instruction manual open and making sure that it has all the details that we need. So for instance, for the sudden flood, it's flash flooding. Flood during monsoon severely damaged agricultural, including rice and jute crops. That's great. Maybe just a date. So when do the monsoons typically cause damage? That would be all that we need for that. The next step is looking at the actually, I should stop and ask if there's any questions so far.
No, we're good.
We're good? Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron. Great. So once we're up to here, and as I said, we'll have those meetings to make sure everybody's up to this point. Maybe P module will take a little bit more time where we need other data. But here, we have a list of different units for the climate challenges. Can everybody see that okay? I'll zoom in a little bit. Is that better? Okay, so we have the category and then the details about what the challenge is here. And then the recommended units. So we've put together this list because the units, sometimes people have found that it's difficult to capture what the challenge is doing in a way that the tool understands. So the option is to go into this instruction manual and just pull out the unit that you think best describes the challenge, and then provide as much detail as possible in the details. We also have this compatibility index here. So if you have a challenge with the same number, you can't have both of those challenges. So you can't have increased seasonal temperatures and increased heat events. And the reason for that is it would be very difficult to isolate what the impact of an increased heat event is from an overall increase to seasonal temperature, because the two challenges are closely related. If we have an increased number of heat events, the seasonal average is also going to be higher. So when we get to the adaptations, solving those challenges, an adaptation that solves one will also solve the other one, which means that we'll be double counting the benefits of those adaptations. This will hopefully make a little bit more sense when we get to the workshop, but that is what all that is there. Has anybody had a chance to look at this yet? That's okay.
Me not so far.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Not so far.
Yes, but this is where we're headed, and I can help you guide you through this in the next meeting as well. After this, we go to module CV, which I've gone through in a previous meeting. It just has all the area that each crop is, where a crop is vulnerable to an increase to a climate challenge. CO, where we look at the next 10 years in the future and how many times we will have each type of event. And the prompts here are very useful as well. Oops. And then CI. So lots of text here, and that's because what we're asking for is very specific. Again, as you're going through, it's good to read the whole thing so that you have a good understanding. And if you have any questions, just send me a message over WhatsApp as well. And this is what it looks like at the end. So you have the non-event here, the mild and moderate, and then the significant and catastrophic. And then you have the summary module for this. And finally, we look at characterizing some adaptations. So for the rest of you, probably, yeah, for all of you, we hope to get to a point where we can start looking at adaptations where they will solve the challenges that we've put forward. And then in the workshops, we'll assess those together with the participants. Can probably end today's meeting a little bit early. Are there any questions based off of what I've said so far, or that's quite clear as to where we're at? Excellent. So in that case, the next step, I'll reach out to all of you with these comments. I'll provide an updated document for Nepal just with those minor changes. And then I will organize to have a meeting with each of you as well, with each group of facilitators, just to populate P- and C-, and then moving forwards. That's all good. Thank you for joining. If there's no other questions, then I think we can end there.
Mackenzie, you
Yes,
set a couple of meetings tomorrow and day after tomorrow with me and Pallav, but both days we are very busy with field works. So
Yes.
could you please move it a little bit? I mean,
yes, absolutely. So Pallav already mentioned
yes.
busy tomorrow and Friday with fieldwork.
Yeah.
Tomorrow and Thursday with fieldwork. So again, so the Bangladesh file is quite advanced already. So it would just be a couple of things to go through. So a 30-minute meeting on Friday, we would be able to get everything that we need to get done. Even if you have a go at doing those changes that I recommended, I think I've sent you a meeting, an email, just looking at those changes and then potentially filling out more of the C- module just according to the instruction manual, then that would be fine. Even if you send it to me, then I can review it. I don't know if a meeting is too necessary for the Bangladesh file.
Okay, got it.
All right. Was there anything else from anybody?
And what would be the timing of the meeting?
We can do anywhere from 9 a.m. your time until about 12 a.m. your time. So that's
So as long as 3 hours.
no, just like a 30-minute meeting, just in that window
Eh,
from 9 to 12.
Okay. So I think the day after tomorrow, I think we will be moving to the field as well. So it will be difficult for us. I think tomorrow we can do, tomorrow early morning we can do that.
All right. So I'll set a meeting at 9:30 in Kathmandu. It's 9:30 Kathmandu time.
Yeah, I think that'll be fine. Sujata, do you think it'll be fine?
Yes, okay.
Okay. Thank you. And then I guess we can organize it here. Sumyadeep, what time works well for you over the next 3 days? Do you have a 30-minute window somewhere?
Yeah, Mackenzie. Um, Anytime. You just tell me because I will
Good stuff.
manage them.
Excellent. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Mhm.
And tomorrow, Thursday or Friday, what works best?
Tomorrow, I think. If we could
Excellent.
sit tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you all for joining again. Some really great progress on all the files, and I'm confident that we will get this done in time. So thank you all, and have a good rest of your day.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.